As you guys are probably well aware, we've been having some problems with our RV. We got two major things to fix today. One of them is the cooling unit on the back of the refrigerator. And before I go any further, I want you to see my faithful assistant.
There you go.
Everybody knows Kevin Lovey, and he's been very gracious and awesome to let us come here to his house and be able to use his facilities, electricity, and everything. He's just a wonderful man. We love him, and we're just really glad that he's letting us do this. So, anyway, you can see
Bill needs a
right now
supervisor.
he's holding his hat.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, Bill needs a supervisor in all stages of life.
So we're going to be replacing the cooling unit on an RM3807, which is a three-way refrigerator at Dometic. I've had a bunch of people tell me, well, why don't you put a residential refrigerator in, or why don't you put these new whatevers. So I'll tell you a couple of reasons why. One is in order to get this refrigerator out of here and to put something else in, I got to take a windshield out. You always take a chance on cracking a windshield doing that, and I'm not saying I'm against it, but I'm just saying at this point I'm not really ready to do it. Another thing is this is a three-way refrigerator. So it's rarely on gas. The only time it's on gas is if we're out somewhere in the middle of nowhere boondocking. That's the reason with the residential refrigerators. When you're out boondocking, oh, well, you have solar. Well, solar will last for a day or two, but then, if you don't have enough solar, you're not going to be able to keep it going. It's a hassle if you don't get sunshine. So then your generators always are running instead of just flipping it over to gas. So, and this has always been a really good refrigerator. It's worked really well up until recently. We've had, the last 2 years we've had problems with it. The first 7 years on the road we never had a problem. The thing started leaking ammonia, and so we had to get a new cooling unit. We got a refurbished one. The first one was leaking before we got it out of the back of the truck. I guess even the road was causing it to start leaking. So then, and this is at Christmas time, we're doing Christmas trees, so then we had to wait a week till Christmas vacation was over for the cooling place. So then we went into, we got another one, we got it back, we put it in, it worked, we finished Christmas trees, we went to the high desert to visit our son the next day, and I was sick as a dog. Next day we smelled ammonia, so that one went bad. So then I called him up and said, can you refurbish the one that we brought to you? So he said, yeah, I'll have it ready tomorrow. So I went down, got that one in, we put it in. It's worked great. We're down in South Texas where it can destroy anything. The climate there and everything else can destroy anything. It's a hard place on your RV. Just know that if you go to do it in the summertime. So anyway, it just slowly but surely started to not work. We put a new thermistor in it. I've had people tell me lay them on their sides, do all kinds of different stuff, and that might work, but that kind of stuff means there's a problem, and doing that might be just a temporary fix, and I want to do this one more time. So I laid down the big money, bought an Amish cooling system, and that's what we're going to be replacing. So I'm going to show you how to do this. I've already loosened this stuff up outside, but we'll go out there and I'll just kind of give you a brief overview of that. Okay, so here's the outside of the unit. So there's a couple things here. So these are the electrical, and they go into these little deals right here. This is the negative, this is the positive, and there's a flathead screw on top. You'll have to excuse the noises, they're building walls and stuff. You loosen these screws up, these pull out. I just put a little tape over it. I don't want to change the whole electrical system to find out. Here's an electrical plug that plugs in there. You unplug that just like you would anything else. And then your gas line. You unscrew your gas line. And then the only thing that holds this refrigerator in on the outside are these screws. And there's one right here, and there's one right here. And that's all that you have to do on the outside. And now, as far as the outside is concerned, it's ready to go out. Now I'll show you the inside. So in here, the things that you have to do is, there's a screw here, and there's a screw here. And you pull this piece off, and then there's two big screws like I showed you out there that screw in the wood right here. So those screws are right there. And then on the bottom there's three little screws, and you take those screws and you take this bottom guide off for the door support, and then there's a screw here and a screw here. Now technically it's ready to come out, but there's a couple other things that you have to do before you do it. You need to take this off. It's easier to take this off now. So that's what I'm in the process of doing at this very moment.
And ours looks different because we took out the ice maker component.
Right. The
It wasn't working.
It didn't work. They tend to.
And I wanted more freezer room.
Right. So we got rid of that. When we first started out in this, we were getting ready to go. She said, boy, it'd sure be nice to get rid of that ice maker. And so I went to the local RV repair place. They wanted $400 to take it out because they said they had to pull the refrigerator. Well, as you can see, it's really not that much to pull the refrigerator out. But there were little bolts that went through this to hold that ice maker in, and let me tell you something. Those things were rusted solid, and they were in a really bad place. So I told Darla, I said, you know, I can get that thing out. It's not going to be pretty, but I can get it out. So it came out in about 8 or 9 pieces.
But we can't take this out because this is the cooling.
This
It's
comes
what makes
off.
the freezer. It's what makes the freezer freeze.
Well, you're supposed to pull that bottom thing
Right.
off first. And then I got that little shield in there. Okay, so that's done. Get out. There's a bunch of screws in here. What I do is I get it, if you start walking it out from the outside here, now go inside, we'll be able to grab it. Just kind of wiggle it, it should slide right out.
Watch it.
Okay, now we're getting close to the light. So now you gotta kind of hold it, but bring it with the nose down. Okay. There it is. Just go to the ground.
Rotate it.
Yeah, go to the ground. Set the nose down first. Okay, now we can just set this like this. Move this forward. See how easy that was?
Yes, sir.
Thank you
Well,
very much.
We're
Now I'm
gonna
take it apart.
replace this right here, and when we get ready to set it back in, we'll holler at you again.
So now it's just remove cover time.
Yeah.
This is all for the burner. So there are some weird screws here to get this burner loose, and they're at a weird angle. So, you know, one suggestion I have, if you're an RVer, go to Lowe's. Now Lowe's carries, that not only carry the Cobalt tools, but they carry the Craftsman. And for about 20 bucks, you can get a set of screwdrivers. And of course, this motorhome has a lot of the square head Phillips style screws. But this is one of the screwdrivers that you get in the kit. So let's see here. We're going to try to keep from unplugging as much stuff as possible. It just makes it a lot easier to not lose things. You see right here where that hose ended, and there used to be a little trough right here. And that little trough, what it would do is when the refrigerator would condensate and the water would go into that trough. And then as soon as you like drive down the road, that water would splash out and then it causes your wood up floor to buckle. So got rid of that little trough.
And now it just vents out a tube.
A lot of them, I think they've give up on the trough idea.
Yeah.
It's supposed to evaporate out of that trough.
Okay, now I gotta figure out where else there's screws other places I gotta find.
I can't believe Bill has a cobalt screwdriver. I thought he was strictly a snap-on guy.
This is not something you want to become an expert in remembering, because this is just a pain in the butt doing this. Yeah. We'll be pulling wires here shortly. Gotta take this off.
Bill, I got a numbers roll if you want to use the numbers on them. You know, that tape that's got the
Oh yeah?
numbers on it.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Yeah, I'll get that.
That would save Darla having
Yeah.
to do this other stuff. Let's see here, that's loose. Okay, this ground wire, I should have put a little hole right there so you could get to that thing. So I'm gonna take a couple of bolts out here that are holding the unit down. There's only a few wires that you take out. I'll take them all out. Okay, this is coming loose already. Thank you. This Kevin guy, he's pretty handy to have around, isn't he?
I tagged a many a wire.
So this is numbers tape.
Yeah.
So we can number the wires once this comes apart to know what end goes to what end. Courtesy Kevin Loving, thank you so much.
Okay, you know what? I think I'm done taking stuff off as far as that goes. I think this will lift off past that.
Yeah.
It's a little bit tight. Now comes the fun part.
I thought it was all the fun part.
No, there is no fun part. I was just kidding.
The fun part. We've been doing the fun part since we started. This is living the dream, Bill.
This is part of
Yes,
living the dream.
yes, this is living the
part
dream.
of living the dream.
Yes.
This is actually not the living the dream part. The living the dream part is visiting people and stuff like that.
That's-
Although, you know, I've
Yeah.
had people say, you know, if you aren't working on something, you'd be bored.
That's
And
exactly right. That's exactly right.
To a certain extent,
Yes.
they're right,
Yes.
but not
You have to
totally.
be working on something.
Not
God
totally.
provides you something to work on all the time. That's why you're a Class A guy. You have to have something to work on.
Yeah, well, everything has problems eventually.
Yeah, this is true.
Okay, now the worst part of all. This is where we've got to lift by, right here. We got a lifter. Well, it's going to come anyway. Oh, look at that.
There you go.
That's probably part of the problem. Need to get these out of here. This is 110, and this one here is the 12 volt. Kind of have to wiggle it out. I just don't, there's so many sharp things here, you got to be careful. So,
That's just a heating element, right?
uh-huh. See if I can get enough slack here to get it out. And this is the shorty here. Can I get enough? I can't get enough. Okay, so we got to get that. Those are my snippers. When I used to work on motorcycles, Kevin, I had a couple of guys. When I was working on their bikes, their head was always right here. And I told them I was going to take them to a doctor and have them put a hole in their head so I could see what I'm doing.
It's sad that hangs in those garages. Price per hour, $50. If you watch, 100.
Yeah.
If you help, 150.
So far, I've unplugged one wire. So if that's enough, right there, there it is. So just that one wire goes right there. Okay.
You gonna tag anything?
I don't think I need to.
Well, that wire has to come out from under. You see how it loops over right there? Something's got to be unhooked. I don't know
Yeah,
why.
that's going to have to be. But that goes to, this one goes to here, and that is for the control panel.
Yeah.
And this is for the thermistor. This one goes in there. This is where I got screwed up that one time. Let's see. Okay, let's have a 1 and a 1.
Yeah, then you can put it peel off however much you want. Stick it on there.
This is number 1, and this is number 1 right here. Okay, and I can unplug that. And then this one is number 2. Which this is kind of cool. I've always just used the kind where you write on the tape.
Well, they stay on there, and if you ever do it again,
Yeah.
at least half of it will be marked. So, I used to work on stoves and ovens with electronic controls on them, and I'd have to unplug stuff and cut stuff, and I had to have those numbers to mark it. Sometimes you have no room for a piece of tape hardly on it.
Well, you know what sucks is a lot of this stuff has a bunch of empty holes.
Yeah, yeah.
It just has to stay there long enough for us to get this off. So then this has to come out here, which is a trick in itself, I guess. This is like automobiles. When I used to work on cars, it would have been sure nice to get the designers, the engineers, and the mechanics all in one room so that when you did something to a car,
Yeah, do
it
that.
could be fixed.
Mechanics will kill the engineers. Couldn't do it.
Okay, K-Man,
All right.
I think we're going to try to lift this out real gently.
Hang on a
Just
minute.
let it go.
What's
Yeah, but if you have that in, I think we could just, damn, this is all tangling up over here.
got wires holding me?
Yeah, they just got to be pulled through. Yeah.
This way.
Hang on. I got to take this screw off.
When
You can't get to it when it's in
Bill
there.
has problems with it in the future, he'll say, well, I had a guy helping me back then, and he just jammed the thing. And
They put this in a really tough spot. Alright, get this off of here. And then all this stuff needs to be cleaned up. Get all this mastic off. Whatever you call it. Okay, so there's a bunch of gobbledygook, which is, you put it on there, and you got to take that off before you put it on the new one. Okay. Okay. Kevin's never seen one of these before. This is called a caulking gun.
Oh,
Okay.
you're right. Well, that's a cheap one. I don't know. I guess a good one.
So.
Where's your screw holes at? I guess that's
There,
these.
1,
yeah.
2, 3. Yeah. I think that's good.
So that's to help transfer the cool from that to the fins.
Absolutely.
That's what that is for. Now, there's a up and a down side on this.
Yeah, and I'm looking at it right
The question is which is, I think you've got it, if you flipped it straight over, I believe
like
that
this.
would be right. Because if you
Pretty
did it
sure.
the other way, it would hang out over the foam. Line it up, Bill.
It's like the cake
No,
topper.
it looks like it's off to one side that way.
Turn it around this way.
No, it's not that way.
Yeah. If you turned it this way, it would
Well,
hang
here's
off.
the holes here.
Yes, yes. So you get to line up the holes.
Here, I'll show you guys something. All of you. Silicone sealers, Dicor, all that kind of stuff. Expensive stuff. Costs a lot of money. Use it once, and you only use a half a tube, and what do you have to do? You throw it away. Hence these little condom looking deals.
Yeah.
Now that's like a brand new tube of sealer. It'll be like that. It'll stay the same until I open it back up. Pretty cool, eh?
We'll have a link down in the description for where we get them.
I think that we could probably take a tape measure and put it on the other foam on the other one and be able to tell.
So you take the new unit, measure it, and then
This is actually smaller.
Yeah, so that's why they send us the foam.
Yeah, well, we're gonna have to use it on this one because it's actually smaller. It's
Smaller
this-
side to side.
Yes, it's a
But
quarter
top
of an
to
inch
bottom?
smaller. And it's a little iffy on that.
These little lines we want to mess with. This is actually feels a little heavier than that other thing. Here.
Yeah.
Rip this up. Oh, it's just perfect. Just lift that side. Let's see if it'll drop in. Gonna have to work around all this stuff now. Them Amish guys, they're something else. Everything is tied up here.
Hold it.
Gotta make it so everything else will fit. So bring it out there for now. Come a little more. We're having to drill holes in the frame because the holes don't line up.
like this. It's off by that much.
So this hole is too far this way and too far that way. The frame is off. The only option we really have here is drill a hole, and it's just going to catch it. But it needs to be able to hold this thing down. And that dropped right in the hole, so that's a good sign. A new thermistor. And everything is all plugged in. That. So that's back on. Let me give you a word of advice. Last time I tie strapped everything real nice and neat, and then I needed to replace my thermistor. If you can keep from messing with stuff, trying to make it real nice and clean and beautiful, because for some reason it just doesn't like to.
Because then when you have to go pull out the old thermistor, it's all tie strapped up and it won't come out the hole.
Right, and you can't pull it. Trying to get all this foil paper back so that we can shoot that foam in along the sides so we can seal it. But the problem is I should have probably did this before I put the thing in, but I didn't.
So you just shot that in the side
Yes.
to seal it off,
Yes.
keep it cool. Where we could press the paper back down over it, we did.
This stuff is wonderful, but it's also
Messy.
I may need you to help me. Started at the top up there. If you could squeeze that in. There you go.
pliers.
So that.
We're in real shape either way.
Ready?
Y'all doing a fine job. Look at
Absolutely.
you. Doing a fine job.
Just don't tilt it back.
Don't.
Up your knee.
Yeah. Exactly right. Nice and gentle.
Well, so here we are. After a couple of modifications that had to be done, these Amish units are about 90%. I had to drill a couple of holes in the mounting brackets. There's one on one side and there's one at the end. I had to cut this section out, and I had to do a little bending on this cover because I wanted that back on. But the stovepipe sits a little bit out, and so that's how I compensated for it. Did a little bending, got that working, got it all done, and wouldn't run on gas. And there was a little power wire inside this little box right here that somehow had come unplugged. And I looked and finally I figured it out. It was behind that little black cover. That's fixed. It's turned on right now. The gas works good. I always like to start with the gas. I hooked it up and checked for a leak. No leaks. Gas is working good. And now we come inside, and there's the inside. This gets like freezing cold, but it's not there yet. Fridge is all ready to go. Hopefully this starts getting cold quickly. I'm gonna raise this up to the max right now, and then we'll kind of like to see something freeze. I've never seen anything freeze on this thing in a while. So anyway, just putting tools away, getting cleaned up. And really appreciate you guys watching our channel, and go ahead and give us some feedback on this. Hopefully you learned something. Hopefully it's the last time I ever have to do this again. So you guys have a great day. Subscribe, like, comment. Definitely want to hear from you guys. So thank you. Have a great day.
Cooling Unit Warehouse,
Yes.
Shawana, Indiana.
Yes, where the Amish all hang out and build these.
rvcoolingunit-info
Yes.
at comcast.net.